What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory, and today I have a Paleozoic frog deck profile for you guys. I've been trying to make this deck for a very long time, and I'm very glad I made it. It is a pretty good deck. It's like maybe like tier 2 or tier 3. It has some regional tops and stuff. But it's a very good deck in general, but it just can't really keep up with like the decks that are in the meta right now. But it is just a really good deck, and it's just really fun to play too. But if you don't know, it's like mostly traps. If you're just like completely new to this deck, and totally awesome is the God card. Better than Vortex, definitely. But yeah, let's get into the deck profile. So first, you run the standard 3 Swap Frog. Swap Frog's really good, being able to just ditch some special summon, and then being able to return it to your hand to get another normal summon of a frog monster. None of their effects are once per turn, so you can abuse them very, 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 very easily. And they're all just overall really good cards in general. Next, you run 3 Dupe Frog. If he's on the field, your opponent has to attack Dupe Frog out of everything else. And he has 2,000 defense, so he has a good bit of defense. And then if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, I think you add a frog monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty sure. Yeah, but it's sent from the field to the graveyard, so if you overlay with him, you can't do that. But if you link with them, you can. And then what you want to send is the Ronin Tonins. You banish a frog monster from your graveyard and special summon him from your graveyard, and he's really good. I've been thinking about bumping him up to 3 possibly, just because he is so good and really handy. Also been thinking if I do bump it up to 3, I might run a Foolish Burial, but for now I'm not. But it is just a really good card, being able to get more monsters on board. Next, you run 2 Card-Maz. I forgot to mention they were going to spells. Let me go ahead and move these out of the way. Sorry. Using a deck that has so little monsters kind of threw me off. Yeah, 2 Card-Maz. I see some people playing 3. I see some people playing 2. I prefer 2. It's 2 or 3 can be kind of bricky, and at 2 it is still sort of bricky, but not as bad. You mostly just want to draw it going first, or if you just like if you're trying to recur some resources after, or if you already have an established board, because in Paleo you don't really special summon a whole lot during your turn, except for maybe overlaying or linking with like tokens off of like Scapegoat. But like I said, this is more of a going first type of card, like first turn activate Card-Maz, get a bunch of advantage. Next you run 2 Pot of Zyres. You run a lot of 3-0s. Like most of your combo pieces are 3-0, so you don't really have to worry about banishing too much of stuff. And it's just all around really good card. Next you run 2 Scapegoat, making tokens, so you can make like Saryuja, Borreload, now Griffin. I don't think Griffin's legal to this Friday, so if you do plan on like using this in like some sort of tournament or something, remember Griffin is not legal, I don't think, until Friday. I got mine at Sneak Peek, so I don't really know what it is all about that. I've never gotten anything from Sneak Peek, so I don't really know. But next, you run 2 Called by the Grave. It's all around just a really good card in this format right now for hand traps. And this deck doesn't like lose to hand traps, but it doesn't really like help it very much. Like it's not like good to get hit with like a Ghost Ogre on like one of your like I don't know. You're totally awesome. So Called by the Grave is just really good, and it's also a really good like offensive card. Like a lot of people use it as defense to stop hand traps, but what I like to do is if you like attack over like say an Electromite, you can activate this to banish the Electromite, and they can't use Electromite's effects. So it's kind of like a stun card sort of. And next you run just 1 Raigeki. This is a going first type deck, but drawing Raigeki is still good. Even if you are going first, it is kind of, you might get blown out, but if you do survive the turn, you can Raigeki and then kind of just win. Next, you run 1 Upstart. Unless I have the Vortex, but you have to bait out the Vortex, which is actually very easy in this deck. But yeah, 1 Raigeki, 1 Upstart, like you're playing 39 cards. Next, you run 3 Candina. Like I said, very easy to bait out. And I keep forgetting to switch. I don't know why. I've always switched. Like I've never forgotten to switch. But yeah, 3 Candina. It's basically a Book of Moon. So, except it's not a quick play spell, so that's probably why it's legal and Book of Moon is not. 3 Oleanoids, basically a trap MST. It's a really good card in the deck. It's just really good, honestly. That's all I can pretty much say. Next, Dynamiscus. This is how you win against Draco. You banish their spells and traps, so you can so they don't destroy any of your stuff. And it's just really good. You just discard a card and then banish a card on the field. I think it's like Karma Cut, except I think Karma Cut banishes like all copies of it from their hand or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Next, you run one Marilla. It's more or less just like sort of like a combo fodder type thing. It's more like a combo piece really, because what you do is you activate it and then dip this one, not dip, but ditch this one, or ditch one that you're not really using if you like already desired or something. And this one makes it where you can target a banished Paleozoic card and then return it to your graveyard. So it's okay, but usually you just dip it with Marilla. I was running 2 Marilla and just not running this, and then what I would do is when I activate it, whichever Marilla I saw first, I'd activate it to dip the other Marilla. And I keep saying dip, I mean ditch. But yeah, it's just overall decent cards, but you know, just one of those because you don't really want to see them, but they're cool if you do, because it is like a 1 card, totally awesome if you activate a trap. Speaking of, next you run 3 Solemn Strike. You actually can't special summon Paleozoics off Solemn Strike, but it is a really good card regardless, so it is definitely worth running. Next you run 3 Torrential Tribute. You can summon them off of this, but they'll literally just get destroyed and banished right after, so I suggest you not. This is really good just for like a bunch of, like, say, really powerful decks like Pendulum Magicians. They'll make like a full board and you just torrential it and they're just like, oh, wow. And then they pass turn and you just kill them. And then next you run 2 Lost Wind. It's really good. I'm running 2 of it and 3 Strike because Strike is overall like better because it's a quick play. Or not a quick play, but a counter. And then Lost Wind is also really good because it's a trap, and a lot of things can't stop traps unless it is like like another trap or a counter, which a lot of people aren't playing that many traps in their main deck. And then it comes back whenever they summon a extra deck monster, or is it special summon? Let's see, extra deck monster. So Pendulums, anything. It's just really good for negating stuff. Next, I run 2 Heavy Storm Duster. This could be a Twin Twisters if you prefer, but it does trigger the Paleozoic monsters as a special summon. That's why I'm running it. And then next I run 1 Quaking. You can ignore this and make this the Storming. Whichever the one is that returns them to your opponent's hand, you can replace that with this, or replace this with that. And yeah, but Quaking is still pretty good depending on your matchups. Like against like Dinosaurs is really good, and against like a bunch of other like randomness is really good. It's really good against road decks mostly, but some meta you might want to watch out, because I mean it's okay against Pendulum Magicians because the only link monster they probably will have is like a Zephyr Metaltron and like an Electromite, and neither one of them have really that big of an attack. Zephyr Metaltron has decent attack, but flipping everything else face down and clogging the zones is really nice. But yeah, that's it for the main deck. Now for the extra deck. There's not really much I'd change about the main deck. I have most of the cards I need. The extra deck, the only thing I'm really missing is another Link Spider and a Saryuja. I don't have one, but it's still like a really good extra deck in my opinion. Next you run, for the first cards in the extra deck, totally awesome. He's like one of the best cards in the game, like period, because it can negate anything. You set it on your field, so like one time I negated a Crystal Wing, I just set it on my field and then flipped it on my opponent next turn, like attacked for game with it, and then I had 2 negates because I had the Totally Awesome and the Crystal Wing. Well, 1 monster negate and then 1 anything negate, and then the detaching the special summon is really good just because it feeds your engine, and plus it always just gives you an extra, like it gives you a negate so you don't have to tribute Totally Awesome or resources out of your hand. So Totally Awesome just makes his own resources, and that's just what makes him so good. Next, you run 1 of this guy. I'm not going to butcher his name, but you know, he's unaffected, so that's really nice actually against like Masterpiece. Too bad he can't really attack over Masterpiece, but it's overall just a really good card. This deck kind of loses to True Draco, by the way, besides like Borreload, but overall this kind of does lose to True Draco. But you can just detach 1 and then pop a card on the field during either player's turn. It's sort of like a baby Masterpiece, just less attack, and it's only unaffected by monsters. But, you know, it's still, like, really good. But it takes 3 level 2 water monsters, so it's also kind of hard to make. Or Aqua, sorry. Next, you run 1 of Opabina. It comes up sometimes, but you can just detach and search any Paleozoic trap card. And then you can play them from your hand. So sometimes if they make like some monster you're trying to get over, you can just summon this, add a Dynamiscus and activate it, discard a card and banish it, or you can add a Candina and then flip it face down. It's honestly just whatever your hand is looking like and whatever you feel like adding. Next, I run one Nightmare Griffin. I did not realize how broken this card was whenever I first got it. This card is so good. What you can do is, if you just draw like enough monsters just to make this, you can just make it and pass, because if your opponent, like, I thought about it in like the Pendulum matchup, because that's like one of the most common matchups you'll probably have. You just summon this, and if they summon usually their first monster is an Electromite, the first Electromite they summon, its effects will be negated because it's not linked to anything, or it's not being linked by something. So that's like pretty much what Griffin says, is the first extra deck monster you summon will not get its effects, or anything else you summon, special summon, will not get its effects. It's just a really good lockdown card, and the drawing to add a spell or trap comes in kind of handy in this deck, because you can add back some of your really powerful spells, because this deck does run a lot of powerful spells like Raigeki or Kara Demise if you really want to double Demise, but it's honestly just up to you. What do you want to do with it? And then the drawing card, like in this deck, it almost never comes up, but and you don't really want to use the first effect sometimes, but you mostly run it just for the negating effect. That's the main reason why you run it. Next, you run one Borreload for dealing with Masterpiece, and that's, I wouldn't say that's pretty much it why you run it, because it is just a really good rank 4 or link 4 overall, but that's like its main purpose. Next, you run 2 Mistarboy. It's a water deck, so you kind of want to make Mistarboy not like as fast as possible, because if you have the option of making a Mistarboy or a Totally Awesome, you need to make the Totally Awesome, because you gotta do the best play with what resources you have, and Totally Awesome is definitely the best play for that. Next, you run 2 Mrs. Radiant for the tokens you make off of Scapegoat, and also Link Spider for this too, but Mrs. Radiant's like the main monster you use for this, because you can just make if you activate Scapegoat, you can just turn the tokens into Mrs. Radiant and then make Griffin, and it's just a really good play overall. Next, I run 1 Nightmare Cerberus. This card's also really good. You discard a card and then pop a special summon monster on the field. It's not as good as Phoenix, just because this one, holds you back from popping normal summon monsters, but there is a lot of special summon monsters in the meta game right now, besides like True Dracos, which is the second most dominant deck, but you might play like a wide variety of different decks, so you really shouldn't look at it like that. And then next you play Nightmare Phoenix, which is definitely better against the True Dracos. You discard a card and then pop a spell or trap on the field. Then 1 Proxy Dragon, and then 1 Link Spider. So guys, that was it with the deck profile. Let me know in the comments like what you guys thought, and give me some helpful feedback about like what you guys might want to play in this deck, or if you liked my deck profile or didn't like my deck profile, let me know why. I appreciate all the comments. By the way, we've been getting a lot of subscribers lately, so thanks for all the new subscribers. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel, if you like this video, please go check out my channel. I have a bunch of other videos just like this, a bunch of different decks. I have some other content like pack openings and stuff. But yeah, just go check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.